Ah, yes, our childhood. The best thing we could think of since TV and movies came along. You want to know what I grew up with? Baby Einstein. Now, I know what you're gonna ask. Why the hell are you still watching that crap when it's for babies and toddlers? Well, excuse me, princess. That is none of your business. And excuse me right there, I said princess because I was imitating Link from that Legend of Zelda TV show. Okay, so let me introduce myself. My name is Sid Shang, and I am from the television show called The Cascaderades. My occupation is hanging out with my friend Ronnie Ann. She is sadly gone now, so I can't tell you about her sadly. But anyways, why do I still watch Baby Einstein? Well, here's a few reasons why. I'll explain them from A to C. A is colorful, B is the music, and C is because you can never be too old for anything in my opinion. The best part about Baby Einstein is the first episode of the series entitled Language Nursery. It teaches you how to speak different languages and much more. However, there was somewhat of a bootleg version of this episode, and here's the story. One day I was at my uncle Dante's church house, just playing on my 3DS, when Dante called me and claimed that we should do some stuff like going to McDonald's, Goodwill, and more. We arrived at McDonald's and I ordered a cheeseburger with no pickles and no onions, a cinnamon roll, french fries, and a Hawaiian punch. And for some reason, the employee, who was Sergeant Hartman, refused to offer me the cinnamon roll since he claimed that they don't do all-day breakfast anymore. Dante then pulled over a pistol and said, "Listen here, you boot camper. We don't care if this is the afternoon. Either you serve us the cinnamon rolls, or we're reporting both of you to your boss and manager." Hartman kept refusing, but Dante just walked in and beat up the employee until he managed to get free food ourselves. Me and Dante then drove away like nothing happened. We then went to the Goodwill store, which was not far away, and I was in the VHS section looking at the kids' movies they sold, such as Thomas and Magic Railroad, The Road to Lee Dordero, and others. While deciding on the movies to plan to get, I met up with a familiar person named Franklin Bean, once an alcoholic cider factory before Mr. Fox bankrupted. That was when he handed me a DVD, which had a star from the Baby Einstein, not from a movie star, a real star like you see on the cover Language Nursery. However, the star had a beak of Conal Dodo. "Are you ruining my childhood all of a sudden?" I asked Mr. Bean. He told me that I'll like this bootleg VHS, because it's filled with crossover characters. Franklin's homie was then no other than Wes Anderson that showed up, and told me that someone makes very special surprise at the end. I tried to keep my loud excitement from bursting out, but I was going to relive my childhood. I meet up with Dante once again in the clothing section, and I told him what I found. But Dante got confused and said, "Why does he have a star have a beak?" I replied saying, "Maybe it's an updated version of the video." Then we went over to check out, and then I met those familiar people who go by the names of Vincent Vega and his homies Jules Winifred. And they told me about once they were hitmen, but they ended their jobs since a riot broke out of their hometown. We brought our stuffs like Dante drove me home, and I had a fulfilling, fun day. I arrived at home, and all my family's there, and if you're curious about my family, their names were Gray, Samantha, Richard Fatchett, Kiki, Hector, Kick, Ratchet, Peter Jacobs, and 2 sisters that are ducks. Quite a big family, isn't it? Oh, and I have a squirrel her name is Andy. I made my way to my bedroom, sat down on my bed. Andy inserted the tape, and I was in a good time. However, I got angry when something in the tape started. Julie Lee Clark happened to be Cynthia from Silent Hill 4. She detailed what you need to know about Baby Einstein and know how to have your baby interact with it. Then it just went to the episode, and then things were quite normal with the bear popping out of its little box, the fishbowl, and the shapes, but after that it just showed the cow. The beavers from Open Season then film came out and started harassing the underdated animal. The cow somehow went Super Saiyan and lasered both the beavers. Then it kept walking. Next we were introduced to a rain stacker, but it looked more like Chalmers was narrating while James Sand was pulling out the rings together. What came along after that was a train, but it seems that Nathan Drake was driving the train, and the lava toy was normal, but then it showed us the barnyard scene, and the animals were the bear and family and the Simpsons. And then after that, that it follows by mobile cars driving on the screen. All went as normal, as well as the bear's box and bricks, candles. But however, the scene with the dolls were just images of Alexander the donkey, Mr. Weenie, Buzz the monk, Honey Nut Cheerio Bee, and Rap Rat. Then the train came, but then stopped, and Stephen Fry was driving out instead of Nathan Drake. The centipede appeared but normal, but Pappy from Kronk's New Groove was narrating the entire thing. Pappy then narrated the next lava toy and the carousel and changed color black, white, and red. I decided to remove the tape as I didn't want to watch the rest of it since there might be more crossovers that I didn't feel like watching. I just kept it in my closet and donated so I could donate it back to Goodwill. After that, I decided to have a nice shower since I haven't had one this morning. It must have been like 5 minutes since I was in there, and I noticed that Norman Bates was going to stab my butt to death. But thankfully, Franklin Bean came to rescue me, and he asked me about my final thoughts on the tape, which I were kept as I kept showering. I told him that I wasn't used to crossovers in the episode. A knock was at the bathroom door. I paused my shower to go answer it, and it was Alberto asking me if Norman was here, and I pointed to where Norman was and put under arrest by the police. The next day I went out for a nice walk, and along the way I met some familiar people, such as 13 Amp, Murray Wiggles, Chris, Eggplant Edwardson, and Grasshopper Gregory, Mayor Muldoon, and Eddie Scarpa. And then while making my way back to the house, I got stopped by Vex and Matt Damon, asking me if there was a thrift shop nearby, and I told them that there was a thrift shop all the way to Japan. Remember, if you see a bootleg version of Little Einstein VHS, you're probably not going to like it. It's nice chatting with you, but I'm going to go to the theater to see a movie about Hitchhawk. Oh, man. And that, my little pretties, was Baby Einstein Bootleg version Lost episode. A Baby Einstein Lost episode creepypasta. Written by Ashley Armbruster. My final thoughts on this story? Well, as you could already tell, this one was quite something. I'm definitely going to say that now. Out of all the stories I've narrated, this story was actually pretty interesting, to say the least. You know, it's so funny, you know, how the characters behaved and stuff like that happening. Oh my god. That was definitely something. I'm definitely saying that now. This is definitely something that I'm definitely going to say right now. This story was flat out awesome. Just flat out amazing and really well done. I could definitely visualize everything that has been happening here. Like, oh my flippin' god. This story actually went really well. Now, I'm going to say right now that the concept itself is absolutely amazing, really well made, and it's just flat, and it flats out works well with the story. And I'm really glad that's the case, because most creepypastas nowadays don't really tend to do, you know, a whole lot of, you know, effort. But this is a funny pasta, so I know it's not meant to take seriously, so I'm definitely going to say right now that this story was actually really good, despite the fact that there were only a few grammatical errors. I believe there were a few of them, but, you know, this story was actually really good. In a matter of ways, I definitely have to say that this story was pretty well done. And I do know that there were a few punctuation errors, but other than that, this story actually worked out really well. And I definitely have to say that this story actually was amazing, really well done. It actually was pretty good, to be honest. I'm definitely going to say this right now. This story was actually really, really well done and really well made. Like, I love the detailing of how this pasta flowed out. Everything about it was just flat out well. And it was so funny. Ashley Armbruster, you do know how to make a really good funny pasta. I'm definitely saying that now. You do know how to make a good funny pasta. So, with that being said, I actually think the grammar, most of it was actually pretty good, as well as some other stuff. So that's definitely a good positive that I'm definitely saying. Now, I definitely have to say that I really like this story. Despite the fact that there were, you know, it's a funny pasta, but, you know, I haven't read a funny pasta in a while. Well, actually, I think that might have been a lie, but I don't know. But anyways, with that being said, this story was absolutely amazing. I really do like that the story actually flits out well. And that's definitely something I'm definitely saying. Now, about Baby Einstein, this is mainly for toddlers, but I honestly found this story to be rather funny. And I really love how everything went out. It's just really that good. And that's definitely a good thing when it came to this story, because when I watched this, when I watched this show, I believe when I was a kid, I remember really liking this episode. And it was just flat out amazing that, this story really actually went really well done, and it actually turns out to be really, really awesome. This story, actually, Armbruster, you did a really good job with this story, so I'm definitely have to say you did a really, really, really good job with the story. I do appreciate you, sending this story to me. I really hope you make more stories. If you do happen to have another of your other stories that I narrated from last year, if you do happen to still have them up, somewhere, just leave me links to them so I can check a look at them, because I am planning on re-narrating a few of them, but I'm not entirely sure when I'll get to it. But anyways, with that being said, I'm gonna say this right now, that if you happen... Now, I'm just gonna say right now that this is simply my own personal opinion, and if you disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions regards to these, creepypastas, or funny pastas in this case, and this is simply my own personal thoughts. My final rating of this story, it gets, at least a 10 out of 10. It's really funny. This funny pasta actually fit out well. It was flat out amazing, and it just fits very well, and it's really amazing too. Despite the fact that this pasta actually fits out well, it's just really well made. I'm definitely saying that now. This story actually went really well with this concept. I really do like it. It actually fit out well. And I'm definitely have to say right now that this story was actually, oh my goodness, it was amazing. So I'm definitely have to say that right now, that the story actually worked out well. And I definitely have to say, oh my goodness, this story, I definitely have to say, was amazing. Anyways, what did you guys think about this funny pasta? Did you all enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what have you have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section down below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you happen to be brand new here on this channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell when I upload so that you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, please roll the outro, because I'm out of here. And I'll be catching you all in the next video. So peace out. And I'll catch you next time, everyone. And as always, please roll the outro, because I'm out.